God bless you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Illegitimate Game. This is Brother Derek. Thank you for tuning in for this content. And tonight, I have a good friend here, sister in Christ, Onieka Henry. She's a business owner. And tonight, we're going to talk about faith, family, fitness, collaborations, business, how to be successful, and how to let God guide you to fulfill your dreams. And welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, God is good. We were just talking a minute ago. God knew the perfect time.
Yeah, he did. He did.
This felt like the right moment.
Yeah. Nothing's supposed to happen before it's time. And I'm a strong believer of that. I feel like everything falls into place when it needs to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we scheduled twice, but then we had to back off.
I think it was more than that. But that was on me because summer was crazy for me. But I'm glad we still kept in touch.
Yes.
Because I know us talking or, us seeing each other on social media or seeing each other in the gym, it's like that communication never left.
Yes.
So, here we are. And, God did that. So.
Yeah, God knows. Yeah, because I was able to work on things with the show, too.
Right.
Because we started a few series, and then I was able to think different and stay on task. And it always, like we just mentioned, it felt like the task God wanted me on, too.
Yeah.
And that's how I came up with the Imaginary series and the one before that, when I was doing more stuff with current events, because he asked me to do some current event topics. Mm-hmm. Like the Carly Russell thing was big for a minute, so I did a show on that.
Okay.
So, and I've been learning more with the show, so I feel like I'm getting better as a podcaster too.
You are. So I enjoy watching you. I think your questions are intentional. And it's just not all over the place. Like some podcasts I watch, I'm like, you know what, next. But with yours, like you watch from beginning to end because there's so much info that you share and it's relatable. So, yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Doing a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I need all the encouragement in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's different voices.
Yeah.
And then just because the internet is so big, you want to know who cares and who doesn't.
Yeah.
And you want real people to show you real love.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Of course.
And I love the juices.
Hey, let's talk about the juices.
Yeah, we were just joking about it, but that's how we met at the gym.
Yeah.
And I always like healthy things, so let's talk about the juices.
Yeah, so Juicy Vybz. Juicy Vybz. I started in 2020, and it all started as a joke, right? So I was hitting 30, and I was like, hey, everybody said as soon as you hit 30, your knees start cracking, your back start hurting. So I was like, what can I do to be more healthy?
Yes.
So I didn't see a lot of content about, cold pressed juices. I was like, let me do the research. And I looked it up, and I started off with mason jars. So I started juicing for myself. I started posting it online. So I would list out all the ingredients, tell people what the benefits are. And people would reach out to me, hey, are you selling them? I was like, I can. So started selling them. I found a girl I met in Canada. She was doing cold pressed juice. I was like, hey, make me a logo. So she just threw a logo together. Didn't have any ingredients, nothing on it. So all I was doing was the mason jars, the random logo with the Juicy Vybz. Yeah. Started selling it like that. So, family, friends bought it, that was it. So it kind of fell by the wayside. But I felt the benefits from it because I suffered from, I'm not going to claim that over my life. I no longer suffer from high blood pressure.
Yes.
But the doctors were telling me, you have to stay on medication. I'm like, I'm 25 years old. That's when they started me on it. I was like, I'm not settling with that. So started looking up alternative ways, and the beets is really good for your blood pressure. So started doing that, and then fast forward to this year, I got laid off from my full-time job after 10 years. So that was a punch in the gut, but I stayed faithful, and I was working at Gold's Gym. And I was setting up there, selling my juices, and it kind of took off from there. So we got rid of the mason jars. We got these lovely bottles, switched up my labels, got a new logo, and then everything just took off this year. And it was kind of bittersweet because I was in this space where all I knew was corporate America, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right.
So
I was like, okay, God, I hear you. You've been telling me to get out all these years, but I didn't listen. I was uncomfortable. I was just nervous, or what is the word I'm looking for? Not uncomfortable, but
is it the anxiety of leaving?
Yes, I had a lot of anxiety about logging into work. Like I just hated it. I hated it. Like when I tell you that, like I did not like it. But I think it was a part of just me being disobedient and not listening to God. Like I want you to step out on faith. I want you to put everything in me. And then once they shut that door, I was like, all right, God, here I am. What we gonna do? What's up? So everything just fell into place for the business, and like I'm just on cloud nine. Everybody loves it. And it's something so simple as cold pressed juices. Like everybody wants it, right?
Yes.
Everybody wants to be healthy.
Yes.
Everybody don't want to eat the processed foods anymore. So it's like I have something where I can interact with people on a healthy level, and then it turns into something else. We can have like here we are now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We started off with juice and hey Derek, come back here, like buy these juices. To now, like we're sitting here having a whole conversation. So yeah.
Yeah, then you could also feel people's energy too.
Yeah.
Because like when I bought the juice, then we started talking about our lives. Because I remember you telling me the story.
Yeah.
I lost my job. Now I have to do the business.
Yeah.
But you already wanted to, but you didn't have to.
Right.
So sometimes you need that extra push.
Yeah. It was definitely a push. It was a push off the cliff.
Off the cliff.
It was like.
And then he helps you fly.
It was like, you're doing this. And I also have to thank, my godmom, because she was the one that was like pushing me so hard to like, Onieka, get out of your comfort zone. Like, do this. It's an avenue. And it's like, I just kept hearing that because we talk every day. Yes. So I kept hearing that voice in the back. Like, if you don't do this, like, I'm going to just keep telling you until you do it. So, yeah, here we are. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're happy and proud of yourself.
I am. I'm very proud.
Because I was going to ask you about God's providence, too. And how long ago did you know you had to? Like, when did it become one of those things? Like, my uncle's a pastor, and he tells me the answer to the question is when you have to stop asking.
Yeah.
So it's like, when did it first haunt you? Like, I need to do this. Was it before 2020?
No, I don't think it was before 2020. I think it was the gap between 2020 and 2023.
Okay.
Like that gap there with like taking that leap of faith and starting it and like putting my all into it. I think with just not having the right guidance and structure as far as like with my faith and like being spiritual. So I started going to Fit for the Kingdom Global Ministry. I think I mentioned that to you. The church I go to downtown.
Okay.
And the level of teaching that I get, I had no choice but to change my life and to be obedient because the conviction was real. It's like
They take away your excuses.
Yeah, it's like you don't have it. Like you need to be consistent. You need to just have faith in every single thing that you do, and that's something I didn't realize I struggled with. Because it's like, yeah, I believe in you, God. I trust you, but I'm over here like, do I? So it's like, getting that level of teaching from our apostle is just like, it's amazing. So I didn't have a choice going forward in 2023 when all of that, happened. It's like, all right, girl, well, here you go, God. Well, here I am. Yeah. So, yeah.
Cause I'm happy you said that part about trusting God, because it's almost like we trust Him as long as it's convenient. That
part.
Because I would have super faith over here, but then I would have super control over here. Because I kind of went through that with my children in their sports careers, arguing with coaches and arguing with anybody and everybody and not trusting people. Because I could trust them over here, but not over here.
Right.
So I struggle with that faith part too.
Yeah, and it's hard because the world around you just influence you so much, and you have to learn to discern certain things. Yeah. And that's hard because sometimes you just don't know. So I think for me, just staying strong and just following the word, that was my go-to, and not letting other people, whatever they had to say, even when it comes to God, I had certain people be like, oh, well, every time I ask you if you need help or anything, you say, God got it. And it's like, some people was just like I felt appalled. Like, did you just say that about God? Because he got it. Yeah. So like, I stood strong on that. And it's funny because when I look back at it, I was like, they really said that. But I mean, I was thinking about it. So yeah.
Yeah. Cause there's times when you say God got it and it's so easy to say it. Mm-hmm. but then you just keep fighting, but you don't even let God do the fight. He's just standing back with his arms crossed.
Yeah.
You gonna let me go?
Yeah.
So
And
it's
I
like
did,
I'm helping
yeah.
God. Yeah, because I really believe, like me and Zach talked about it a few times. There are times where I really believed I was helping God, but He didn't need my help.
Yeah.
But He gave me that false sense of control.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So like you said, between 2020 and 2023, do you feel like when you lost your full-time job, do you think that 3 years period was God actually preparing you for it, and then He kicked you, or were you procrastinating, or was He preparing you, or both? Like,
I think it was a little bit of both, right? So during that period of me transitioning from different roles, it was a role I really wanted. I wanted to get into anti-money laundering,
oh wow,
and I wanted to get in there like with the very first time I started that company. So like that was my goal to get there. So once I got there, I hated it. I did not like it. I just absolutely hated it. And I think I was fighting so strong to keep it, to like it, but it's like my juicing over here, it's like, okay, it's still going, right? But I'm not pouring my all into it.
yeah,
And even though I'm asking God to like show me a sign or something, it's like I'm ignoring all the signs that he's giving me. You're uncomfortable, one, at this job. You don't like it. Like, you're messing up on the work. So it's like, what more do you want, girl? So, it was set up in a way where
yeah,
because of who I am, I always have good relationships with anybody I encounter. Like, my manager, like, she had my back 100% in the transition out of the company, right? So it set me up to a place where I let go, and even though like I didn't know how my mortgage was gonna get paid, I didn't know anything. So I was in a place, especially with going to, the ministry that I'm in,
yes,
it's like my faith was just building up over time. So while going through the process, I was just very relaxed. And it was like I was trusting God so hard. It was like I'm not worried about it. And it's like, all right, my mortgage gonna get paid. I'ma still eat. And I just bought my house a year ago, right? So I'm like, all of this is happening. And I was like, all right, God, you got it. You got it. So when the day finally came, and what's crazy, the day that I started that company 10 years ago was the same day I got let go. The same exact day, 10 years later,
wow.
right? So I was like, oh my God, you funny. But
Sense of humor.
right. So I was
Yeah,
like, you know what? That's crazy. So when it happened, everybody was like, are you okay? My dad is like, are you looking for another job yet? Like, are you gonna go back to corporate? I was like, no, I'm okay. Like, I'm about to focus on my juice business. And like I said, it just took off effortlessly. And like all of these people just fell into my life that are mentoring me, guiding me. Like I met a guy that owns a juice bar downtown. And, I went to him and we were talking, and he just was like pouring information into me. And there were other people that just never even called back or didn't want to give me any information about starting up a juice bar. But it was like him. He was like, do this, reach out to this person. And it was like because I was obedient and I listened to my mentor over there, and and yeah, so everything just fell into place. Yeah.
So, okay, let me ask you this then: the humility you needed for all of that. Your opinion, would you have had that same humility if you started the business on your own, or because you were laid off and you had to? Because it also takes humility to come up.
Yeah.
Because I know there was times I didn't listen to people when I was doing my own thing. So where did
Yeah.
humility come from?
I think that just the people I surround myself with, I think you need those people who are also aligned in where you want to go, especially spiritually, and also, you know, whatever they have going on. So you want people around you that they also have stuff going on for themselves.
Okay.
So I think if I would have tried to do this on my own, I probably would not be in the same space I am in today. So I think me just being open and being transparent with people, telling them, hey, I don't know how to do this or I don't know how to do that, and also taking feedback from all of those people, I think that's helped me to, to keep going and growing to where I am.
Yeah, humility is big. And there are times I didn't even know I didn't have it
Yeah.
until life hit me in the face. Because He's still working on us sometimes. And I think there are moments when He'll send pressure to let you know,
Yeah, for sure.
you got to fix this. And failure is a good teacher.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Matter of fact, yeah, since I asked you that, let's say you're talking to a new business owner. What is a horror story that you've experienced in your business? Do you have any?
Story. Not yet. I don't think so. I think because I'm so fresh, I haven't ran into anything crazy. Thank God.
Yeah.
I feel like the only thing I would tell people starting out is don't let one no, two no's, three no's, 10, 100 no's discourage you.
Okay.
Because there are going to be people out there that don't want to see you win. And for me going out, trying to ask people that were in the same field that I was, like, well, how did you start? How did you do this? It was a lot of very short, cut and dry answers or even no answers at all. So I got in my feelings because I was like, what's going on here? But then I have to realize not everybody's on the same page as you or want to help people. Especially like in the Black community, I feel like that's something that we're lacking. And I feel like I don't know why we don't want to help each other or help each other grow. So I feel like that's the one thing I ran into. So I would say to, especially Black women, just keep going. Just keep reaching out. There's always going to be that one person that's going to tell you yes and that's going to pour into you. So all those other no's, it does not matter. Yeah.
So did they view you as competition or were they just nasty people?
I have no idea. They just never reached back out. But like I said, that one guy, Pop, he owns the Black of the Berry. It's in Shockoe Bottom. He just was giving information, and he told me to reach out to Jackson Word Collective. Okay. So I'm in their business academy.
Wow.
So it's like all of that information, and I'm like, next week will be my last week. It's a 12-week course.
Okay.
Amazing. I recommend to anybody starting off. And there's also people that's in there that have their own business. Like one of the girls, she owns Resolutionary Winery in Petersburg, Black owned. So she's in the class. So it's like it's a range.
Me on right now. I've never heard of none of this. Thank you.
Yeah. There's another girl. She's in Regency. She is Nostalgic, I think it's called. I think that's the name. But it's a cereal bar. So it has like all the 90s cereals and ice cream. It's pretty dope.
Wow.
She's Black owned. So it's a lot of powerful, and it's all women in this cohort. Okay. Surprisingly, it's mixture. I think the other ones were, but this particular one, it's all women. They're all doing their thing, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. And being there, I've gained a community of people that I'll probably stay in contact with forever. Because it's like they all have different backgrounds. They all have a different story, and we want to see each other win. Like there's no bickering. When you put a bunch of women in one room, you know what happened.
The cat fight.
But it's like this environment is just very empowering and uplifting. So just keep going. Just don't take that no as like the end all be all.
So that one man turned you on to all these other people.
Yes.
And from relationships and one person can just turn you on to everything. So that's why I always believe you got to have a good, like you said earlier about good energy and a good attitude, because that one connect could open up so many other doors and it's stuff you never would have found.
And he could have definitely said no when I walked into his juice bar. I could have just bought that juice and walked out. But I went in there to intentionally say, hey, can we talk for a second? And how do you do this? How did you get started? And he was just he was just giving information. Here, go here to buy this juicer. Do this. Go to get this grant. So it was empowering. So I definitely need to reach out to him or go back up there one day and just say, look, thank you. I took the course, and here I am. So yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask you about that too. When you meet people, they could turn you on to where the money is.
So especially with him, I'll definitely reach back out. And just to say thank you, because I feel like he didn't have to say anything. He was like, "Look, girl, buy this juice and go about your business."
There's so many people be like, "Yo, email me, hit me on Instagram." Yeah, you never hear from them again.
Yeah, that's a society we live in.
He actually gave you some attention.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, because we need people like that. Because I was talking to a business partner a couple of days ago, and we're trying to find a grant writer for the nonprofit. So collaborating, relationships, letting God guide you to the right people.
Yeah.
It just keeps opening more and more doors. And then it's effortless.
Right.
Because I remember times it'll take me 8 months to do something on my own, but other moments when I have enough faith to sit down and pray, God can open that door in 10 minutes.
For sure. And sometimes we lean in our understanding so much, it's like we're blocking our blessings and we don't even know it. That's the sad part.
It's like he'll watch you fail. Like, you gonna let me do it?
Right. And that goes back to just standing strong on your faith. And that's all it goes back to.
So would you attribute that to fear or pride, or why don't we want to trust God?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think it's more of, I think it's fear. I think, we've gotten so used to doing something, and when it failed, then we run to God, right? Versus running to God first and be like, "Hey, God, can I do this? Like, let me get your blessing first."
Yeah.
So I think it's fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so funny because right there in the Bible, it tells you that.
Yeah.
Like in the book of Joshua, when they lost that battle, Joshua didn't pray before they went up that mountain. The one fight he lost was and if you read the whole book of Joshua through, he prayed every time. God, can we go over there? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
The one time they didn't pray first was the battle they lost.
Look at that.
The example's already there.
Yeah, for sure.
We just get so big. I got it. I want these 5. Let me go.
Yeah.
But you want those 5 because of him.
And we forget that sometimes. So,
Easy.
yeah.
God, I got it.
Yeah.
Then he sits back and laugh.
Right.
So what's the well, you don't have any horror stories yet. What's the miracle you know God did for you in your business? Well, you know he did it. Yeah, this could inspire. Yeah.
The miracle. Everything.
From day one.
Yeah, I think from day one, I think lining up me financially once I got laid off, that was the first step.
Okay.
Giving me the vision, especially like even down to my logo, right? Like it's eye-catching, even down to those little things, even down to, switching out the bottles, just the ideas, having certain conversations with people, doing pop-ups at the gym. That turned into much more. And now having conversation at other gyms about, eventually setting up in there.
Yeah.
It's just, the list is endless, where I see like a bright future for Juicy Vybz. I feel like it doesn't stop with the juices. Like I see more coming for, if it's health coaching or wellness coaching, whatever God has in store for me. I'm open to just venturing out on that road. Yeah.
So okay, well, yeah, I asked you this earlier. How would you define success? Is it the joy you're living with? Is it $1 million? Is it branching out? Is it Juicy being in Kroger and Walmart? Like, what would success look like to you?
For the business, I feel more. Let's talk money first, right?
Okay.
Because everybody wants to talk about money.
True.
I think the teaching I'm getting on money is not like it doesn't have a stronghold on me anymore, right? So I think the old me, it's like, all right, I don't want to lose any money soon as I'm going into this. I don't want to give back any money just yet. Yeah. But I think sitting back and understanding is like I've always grew up learning the more you give, the more you get, and just open and give freely. And I had to instill that in myself. It's like, all right, you have to go into this and, not let money control you. So success for my business looks like, with these juices, I wanted to change people's lifestyle. I want them to not depend on medication. Like you can heal heal yourself by just eating the right things, drinking the right things. And I feel like we've got so caught up in the world, like it's just go, 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 go. It's like, let's take a step back, even though, they can get a little bit pricey, right? But I feel like they make it that way so we can still be unhealthy.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I think the success is like, yes, of course, I want to branch out. I want to be in stores. I want everybody to know about Juicy Vybz. But for me, the moment, wow, it's like, I made it. It's like where I want to hear those testimonies. Like I have a lady that's been ordering from me. She was like, she struggled with inflammation and she drinks the one with the turmeric, kick the sick. And she's like, yo, Onieka, I noticed when I don't drink your juices, like the pain comes back. So she was like, I need the one with the turmeric. So it's like stuff like that. That's what keeps me going. As long as I know that I'm making a difference. Yeah, the money's always going to come.
Yeah.
Because I'm wealthy. I claim it. I got money. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's always going to come. But, you know, just to be out there and just to know behind Juicy Vibes, there's a woman that started with high blood pressure. There's a woman, you know, that woman started with procrastinating, not being consistent, to a woman now that stands strong on her faith and she wants what's best for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I learned later on too. How Jesus says better to give than receive.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're uplifting other people, you get promoted at the same time.
Right.
Because our gifts are for the service and for the community some kind of way.
Yeah, for sure. And I like the fact that even being so young in my business, I'm still able to give back.
Yeah.
So that tomorrow, actually, I'm giving away free juices to anybody that donates like coats or blankets. They'll get a free juice. And I feel like God has placed me in position to where I can't afford that so young in my business to, you know, to be able to give that out. And like, it's not a strain on me. I don't feel it. Like, I just went in the store, bought all the fruits. All right, bam, we're going to make these juices. I'm going to put the time and effort into doing this. And I'm giving back to, you know, the community. And I feel like that's how it should be. So.
Yeah, they say, yeah. That's the more people you lift up, the higher you go.
Yeah.
And the more you're selfish and care about yourself, you can't get promotion, but now you're working twice as hard because you're by yourself. And something my mentor used to tell me this all the time. You always want God's anointing in anything you do.
Mm-hmm.
And then money is not the biggest issue because God can open any door he wants to open.
That is a fact.
But when you get selfish, you lose that anointing.
Yeah.
And now it's all on you.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of opening and closing doors, the same company that, you know, the door was closed on me, another door was open in the same company.
Wow.
So I'm back, you know, I'm back working full time, still doing my juicing. But it's funny because it happened so effortlessly where I didn't even have to do anything to get back in. And it's like where I'm at and where he positioned me now. It's like, all right, God, I saw what you did there. It was like, I needed you to leave to see what I can give you. But here's another door I'm going to open for you, right? So it's like he set me up in a place where my manager is awesome. The work I'm doing, I enjoy going to work. And I'm still able to focus on my business at the same time. So it's like, I see what trusting you looks like. I am here for it.
You got the best of both worlds.
Yeah. So
being obedient.
Yeah, it's been a complete blessing, and I don't regret anything that happened. I don't feel any hurt. I wasn't angry with God about it. I was just like, okay, here we are. I trust you, and yeah, all that happened this year.
Obedient.
Yeah, and I'm saying it out loud. It's like all that did happen this year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's so awesome to look back at it, but living through it, there is a different kind of stress.
Yeah.
Because every day, okay, how I'm gonna pay this bill?
Right.
And for me, I got 3 children. How I'm gonna feed my kids? You want me to walk away from this? What they gonna eat?
Right.
You know, sometimes it's easier if it's just you. But if you have children too, and especially for men, we got pride anyway, because we always want to be a superhero.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm trusting God, but if I'm the hero, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
And something I got from my mentor, like, that's why I'm happy to hear you talk about yours, because I had my mentor back in 2007. And one of the things he used to talk about is when you're always using I, you might be wrong. Because you're focusing on yourself first instead of God first.
Gotcha.
And then service. And then what is your function and what is your purpose? But when it's always I, you're going to do what makes you happy and comfortable.
Yeah, that is true.
Then you miss God.
That's true. That is very true.
Because I just asked you about your miracle. That's another one. Now you got the best of both worlds. The business is up, and you went back to the same company.
Yeah. And in a better position where it's like I don't have that anxiety or all that, being uncomfortable. It's like, when I tell you, I haven't had a manager that's been so dope.
Yeah.
And like she's so understanding. She doesn't treat you like a robot. And it's like, she understands you have a life outside of work. And I feel like a lot of managers miss that mark. So you always hear people leave a company. I feel like people leave companies not because of the work, but because of their management.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know if once people get up the ladder, it just goes out the window that, hey, people are still human. Just because they're below you, they still have a life too.
True.
So I think I feel like a lot of managers miss that mark. But yeah, I'm happy with how things have played out. Yeah.
Keyword happy.
Yeah.
I remember the proverb. I think it's Proverbs 18, where it said God will give you a blessing, but He doesn't add any suffering or pain to it. Earlier, when you said you were going to work miserable, and then you was like, the signs are here. How often do we ignore those signs because we want something magical?
All the time.
Like,
The blindfold is on.
yeah,
I don't see nothing, God.
your emotions tell the truth sometimes. Your feelings can tell the truth sometimes. Your health. Because I still remember that year I swole up to like 400. Like, you met me after I lost most of it.
Okay.
But it was a 3-year period where I was just working like a dog. Still didn't have any money, so I'm obviously missing God.
Yeah.
But I was working 7 days a week, calling myself taking care of my family. But I was miserable. I wasn't even going to the gym. Then I started drinking again. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm going to do this. The eye came back. But if your health goes down, you're working more, you still ain't got no money, you're obviously missing God.
Yeah.
Because Proverbs 18 said, my blessing has no sorrow with it. So if you're doing all that extra and you still ain't got it, just sit down.
So how did you come out of that funk? I want to hear about that.
It was, okay, well, there's a lot of steps to it, but I'll tell you the big one.
Okay.
Going upstairs in my house, there were times where I would climb those stairs and just break out in that profuse sweating. And from all the books I read, that's a sign of a stroke. So I'm like, why am I having these stroke symptoms? I'm too young for this. What's wrong? I'm Superman. I shouldn't even be this sick. And then when I finally did go back to the gym, I'm like, yo, I got on the scale. And I'm like, why? How did this happen? And going through the stress, it felt like it happened overnight because pride also blinds you. So I'm not even realizing I'm gaining all that weight.
Right.
I'm just looking at myself as the superhero suffering because the pain also boosts the ego. And like I was talking to your mentor earlier about the illegitimate game and where it came from, for a lot of, I can't speak for everybody, but for a lot of men, if it's not painful, it's not love. So I'm proving I'm loving you by suffering. So sometimes we let our health go down.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I'm drinking this beer because I'm stressed out. I earned this beer, even though it's killing me again.
Right.
Then I have to wake up at 4 o'clock the next morning and go back to work because I love you. So I'm killing myself because I love you. That's part of the illegitimate game too. Even though the Bible said, my blessing has no suffering attached to it. So when you're moving in your pride and your ego, you change the rules. Because if I love you, I should be suffering for it. I should be bleeding for it. And you should see me and then care for me even more.
Yeah, right.
So it's completely backwards thinking. And sooner or later, God gonna wake you up.
Yeah.
You know, when you have troubles in your relationships, when you have trouble with your kids, trouble with your health, that's all the signs God's not here. So you have to turn around and repent and say, okay, what's wrong?
Right.
And He'll walk you through it as soon as you humble yourself.
Yeah.
And I went through a lot of humbling.
Yeah.
And because I love my family, I knew I had to fix me.
Okay.
And there are things you can't control. We talked about that before.
Right.
But as long as you right with God, He's going to do all that other stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like now, you got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
That might be the title of this episode.
The best of both worlds. I like that.
Because I didn't know you went back to that company.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. It happened, was it August? Yeah, August, like the ending of August.
Yeah.
Like it just, like I said, it was effortless. Like I didn't have to do anything. And it was all because I kept certain relationships where I could have, not did it the godly way and burnt those bridges, but I don't do that. I don't do that. And by me not doing that, it opened the door again. And it was like, okay, God, I see you. And I was able to open a door for another friend of mine, that was also working there. So it worked. When I tell you, God be working, man.
That's another miracle.
He be working. So yeah, it all worked out the way it should have.
And you said, I ain't burned no bridges. Sunday, our pastor talked about the power of life and death is in the tongue. So you could have burnt those bridges quick.
I could have. Look, I could have burned it as soon as I heard that you're not getting this, you're not coming back to this company. I could have just, shut it down there. But it's like, I'm just not that person. And my grandmother, when I tell you she was the sweetest lady I've ever met in my entire life. It's my mom's mom.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Guyana, in South America. And we weren't the richest, but we never wanted for anything. Always had food. My grandmother had, when I tell you every fruit tree you could possibly think of, we had all of that.
I want to go there. That's where I want to go. I want a real pineapple.
Look, she had down to sugar cane, banana, mango, guinea. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it's like a little small green looking fruit.
Do I need a passport?
Yeah.
Let's go, Zach. I want to go there. Wherever that is, Guyana, I want to go to Guyana.
She had all of these fruit trees. So just growing up, even though we lived in a small house, it wasn't updated. We had to take baths outside.
Yeah.
The toilet, there was no toilet to flush. You know what I'm saying? So growing up like that, and then coming here was completely, culture shock, right? Mm-hmm. But I think having that upbringing and just being around somebody that's so loving. We grew up in a Catholic church. So my grandmother had me in the choir. I don't know how to sing. I can't hold a note. I was like, why did y'all have me in the choir? Anyhow, but I think just watching her, she always had her Bible and she always had some type of novel with her. Yeah. And anybody that came to our yard, if they came for food, clothes, if they needed a shelter, she offered that. And I've never seen her angry. I've never seen her turn anyone away. So I think watching her grow up, that turned me into the woman I am now. Like, my heart is so big where it's now I have to set, I'm counseling with my pastor and he was like, you need to set healthy boundaries. So that's something I'm struggling with, but,
okay.
And I think, just growing up with her, like I just have such a big heart. Like I want to help everybody and I don't want to say no. And just going back to burning those bridges, it's like, why am I going to be angry at this person? I don't know why that happened in the background. So why am I mad with them? Something else could have happened. And, God over here working and doing his thing. So I'm going to just let everything, roll itself out and not burn those bridges. So I think, she's the person that molded me into that like loving, caring, genuine person. Yeah. So.
Watching your grandmother.
Yeah.
She's still here? She's still in Guyana? Oh, she passed away?
Yeah, she passed away in 2013. I think 2013. Yeah.
Wow. You ever go back to visit Guyana?
Mm-hmm. I went back in 2020, like right before COVID hit. So that time I went home with one of my girlfriends, and that was the first time I actually did like touristy stuff in Guyana. And, most of the time I go home, like, when I left Guyana, I was 9 years old. So my mom was still there. I came here with my dad. So I would go back and forth to visit. But this particular time when I went home, we got to see the Kaitro Falls, which is one of the largest one-drop waterfalls in the world. I think it might be number 2 now. Wow. So we did that. We went to like an island in the middle of nowhere. And it had a church, a school, and a hospital. And I think the population was maybe like less than 100 people. So Guyana is such a huge, beautiful place. You should definitely go.
Yeah.
But I haven't been back since COVID. I'm planning to probably go next year. So I'll plan that.
Are the people there happy?
Yeah, everybody in the Caribbean's happy.
I mean, because the images they send us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what is it really like?
I think people are happy. As anywhere, it has its ups and downs and its struggles. But for the most part, it's just simple living.
Yeah.
You're always going to have those people that want to keep up with the Joneses. You're always going to have those people who like the simple life, and they're fine with that. But I think coming from a place where you don't have much, you learn to appreciate so much more. So when you do get it, it's like you value that and you don't take it for granted. So I think coming here at such a young age and still going back and forth, because my mom didn't come here until 2016. So all those years, we didn't have FaceTime back then. We didn't have none of that. So all we write was letters. And my mom never missed a beat. I think I still have like all of those birthday cards from when I was like 9, when I left her, and all the letters.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Those
like,
letters are valuable.
Yeah, like I have all of that stuff, and like we would have to go get calling cards, and then you'll hear the thing, you only have 1 minute left, and it's like, dang, Mom, we just got on the phone. So I think, just missing that part of it, and just even still having that connection throughout all those years, it just made you appreciate it. So I think I will say the people of Guyana I will say they're happy. Because my dad, he enjoys going back home all the time.
Yeah.
He has a house back there. So he goes home like once a year. So my aunts, they go home all the time. So it's like Guyana's always going to be that happy place, regardless of if the government's going crazy or whatever else is going on. It's just simple living. And that's all it boils down to. Yeah.
Yeah, because I asked you that because my worldview, because I have a master's degree in psychology, and I always thought I was a philosopher anyway. So my worldview has always been the value is in the people. It's not in the PlayStation. It's not in the car.
Yeah.
It's not in the clothes, the jewelries. It's not in the fame. It's not even in social media. The value is the people.
Yeah.
So if you live in an area that they call poverty, that they call third world, you actually love the people and the people around you. You actually love your family. In my opinion, after what I read in the Bible, that's actually a better life.
It is.
Because now I love you and not what I can get from you.
Right.
You actually value the person.
Yeah, and it's like over there, like everybody knows everybody. Like your neighbors.
Yeah, you don't have to lock your doors.
Yeah, so I feel like over here, I don't know Tom and Jerry down the street, but back home, it's like you knew everybody in the neighborhood, and like the parents are looking out for other kids where the kids can just walk. Like I used to walk to school at like 7, 8 years old by myself. You can do that here. So it's just like just growing up over there, it's like you just feel that genuineness from everybody around you, and people are looking out for each other. Things might be a little bit different now because of all the other influences from outside, but I still think that community is still there. Yeah
because it's a better world when you love people and not stuff.
Yeah.
Because I remember when my dad was in the military, so when we lived in Germany, we stayed in this they call them flats, and I think it was 4 floors altogether, if I'm not mistaken. But when we moved into that building, we were the only American family, but I knew everybody in that building. And me and my brother also knew which door not to knock on, because that guy was different.
Yeah.
It was I was 6, 7, 8 years old.
Okay.
I can't define it.
Yeah.
But me and my brother and my parents told us that guy's different. So out of that whole building, there was this one door we stayed away from.
Yeah.
Don't know what it was. And God covered that for me. My parents probably know, but we were young. But we knew everybody in the building. But there are times in America where we lived in certain neighborhoods, you don't even know your neighbor.
Yeah.
Like the subdivision I bought my house in, I didn't know everybody in that circle. Because everybody's busy, everybody's doing their own thing, everybody has a TV, everybody has a phone. So we didn't even know our neighbors. But in Germany, when you got less, it's like people become the value.
Yeah.
And not the stuff.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I think the neighborhood that we moved into when we moved here, we were living in London town, somewhere in Enrique.
Okay.
And then my dad bought a house, and we were blessed to have the best neighbor ever, which is now my godmom, my mentor. So she pretty much raised me. Because my mom, like I said, my mom wasn't here. Me and my stepmom, we didn't have the best relationship. And it was like I needed a woman in my life to guide me, and she took on that role without asking any questions.
Okay.
And from the age of 11, 12 to now 32, it's like she's still in my life, still guiding me, still pushing me. And it's like I couldn't ask for anything else.
Yes.
So it's like that neighbor was a blessing that I didn't even know I needed.
For 20 years.
Yes.
That neighbor sounds like a guardian angel.
That part.
Yeah, we need to meet the guardian angel, don't we? We need to talk to her.
Right.
But yeah, let me ask you this. From living in both Guyana and America, wait, were you in Richmond the whole time?
Yeah, so it came straight to Richmond. So I didn't get to experience the New York living like most Caribbean people do.
Okay, so what would you say is the biggest difference from your perspective from actually living there?
From living in Guyana?
Guyana and here. What would you say the difference was for people who never been? As far as the joy, the love, what's the biggest difference?
I think over here people are very consumed with themselves.
Okay.
And like you said, the community part of it, it's like it's everybody for themselves versus back home where people are actually looking out for people. And like I said, my grandmother, we didn't have much, but it's like she found, like, she would give you the last piece of bread that she had. And it's like over here, your neighbor or whoever could see, your husband beating you in the front lawn. They'd be like, and they'll look the other way. Versus back home, your neighbor might call her husband like, "Hey, go help them" or something like that. And it's like people just turn their face over here. That's where I saw the difference. And I don't know if it's just like the upbringing or I don't know what it is. Or maybe because we all just grew up so close to each other, or maybe we just some nosy people in the Caribbean. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it was definitely a culture shock, especially starting school here because I had an accent. So it's like broken English. We still speak English.
Yeah.
But the kids picked on me a lot. So just having to, maneuver through that. So I struggle a lot with wanting to fit in. I struggle with, low self-esteem because it's like I don't look like these other kids. I don't speak like these other kids. Mm-hmm. So they weren't as welcoming as I thought they would be, especially somebody coming from outside versus as an American, if you come to Guyana, we just worship the ground you walk on because we think, what they portray America to be is like, it's all, flowers and roses over here.
Yeah, the fake flower.
Right. That's your stink.
Fake flower. You'll get a flower.
But yeah, so it's like, when, and I've noticed even too, like when I used to go back home, after being over here for a few years and go back home, everybody's like, "Oh my God, look at you. You look great. Look at your skin. You're like, look at how you speak." And it's like, they just worship you. Versus here, as a foreigner, when you come here, it's the complete opposite. It's like, go back to your country, like that type of thing. So it's like, it was completely culture shock for me. Yeah.
People, what's the word? They fear what they don't know.
Yeah.
They fear what they can't understand.
Yeah.
Intimidated by what you can't control.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Because I just had this conversation with a friend of mine. Everything you just said, love. We don't know what some people don't know what love is.
Yeah.
So then we mistreat other people. Mm-hmm. And then after me and her had that conversation, I said, you know what? Do we love ourselves first? Because if I love me, I'm not going to treat you wrong because you're different.
Right.
So maybe in Guyana or other countries, when you have less stuff, maybe they learn how to love themselves correctly.
Yeah.
Because you ain't got nothing to hide.
That's a valid point. Yeah. I can see that.
So it's kind of like love may be a missing ingredient.
Yeah. Could be.
Because like, you know how everything on TV, depression, insecurity, anxiety, every time you turn the TV on.
Yeah.
In Guyana, how often do people talk about insecurities and fears and anxieties?
Not a lot that I could think of.
It's not even a topic, is it?
Probably not. Yeah.
So the biggest fear is, which fruit am I going to eat today?
Probably.
Is there another pineapple, right?
Right.
Pineapple's my favorite.
Look, I have pineapple in everything, okay?
Pineapples, kiwis, watermelon. Because my family in Louisiana, I don't know if they had their own watermelon farm or what, but every time I went to Louisiana, every house was full of watermelon. So I grew up eating watermelon.
Yeah, like going back to the health benefits of, juicing, it is so much in it. And I have it, listed out here, maintains healthy skin, improves your energy, it detoxifies your body. It's like so many benefits. What else do I got back there? Fights inflammation.
I like that boost metabolism.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It has so many benefits to it. It's like we need it. And, people are on the go, so it's convenient. So standing in the kitchen, juicing, figuring out how to, whip all that stuff up and make sure it tastes good, it takes a lot of work. You have to have a passion for it. And my passion is like, when I'm in the kitchen, it's not work to me. It's like, because I love doing it. I love seeing the effects that it have on people. And it's just like finding something that you're passionate about. Oh, baby, you hit the jackpot.
Oh.
Like, it's nothing like it. Yeah.
When you're doing what God told you to do, you don't even need a motor. You just flow. It's like it's almost like he's with you while you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like what they say, if you love something, you don't even look at the clock.
When I tell you I was up at 4:30 this morning, like wide awake. I'm never am I up at 4:30, but just wide awake. I was like, you know what? I got so much to do. I got these events coming up. Let me get up and start. I was like I was literally laying in the bed praying. I'm like, we're gonna, what is the plan today? Da da da. So maybe I can lay here and fall back to sleep. I said, you know what? No, get up. And I gotta tell you, like, I'm full of energy now, maybe because I had some coffee, but I'm not tired. Like, this didn't make me tired, making these juices, like, for my events and stuff. So I think just once you find that passion and once you talk to God and he leads you to like what your purpose is, like, don't let that go. As much as you're tired, you don't want to get up. And it's like days where it's like things aren't falling in line or you get frustrated. Whatever it is, it's like, don't give up. Just go back to, how God made you, guided you to this place. Like, don't just go back to that always.
Definitely.
And then, just go from there. But yeah.
That's definitely true. Because matter of fact, I'm going to tell this story. This might help somebody in the internet world.
Yeah.
It's going to help you. Sometimes there's no, trying to say it the right way. Sometimes there's no right answer. Hold on. Sometimes there's no wrong answer to the right thing. So this is my example. I went to computer school because I was trying to find a way to make more money. I didn't retain any of that information.
Yeah.
Like, it literally killed me to study it and to learn it. And then I went back a second time. Okay, I'm going to go to computer school because one of my cousins, he does computers up in D.C. He makes a lot of money. So I'm like, okay, I could change careers and get into computers, but it never worked. So after I went back the second time, I just sat down and said, okay, God, maybe this ain't it. But it's not necessarily wrong because computers might work for the next person.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people getting into tech now.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my thing because it shouldn't be that hard to retain the information.
Right.
Because when I studied psychology and philosophy, I picked that up quick. And then just like writing and teaching and all of that, the books, that's easy for me. But if I can't get the computer thing, maybe God don't want me to go that way.
Right.
So like I was trying to say, it's not, people have to do what God wants you to do.
Yeah.
Because it could be wrong for you, but right for me.
That is true.
Because if I make that juice, it may not taste like
it. Right. Probably might be real pulpy. But
I might have to add some sugar to make it taste good. So I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
But when it's your gift, you just get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm just sitting here, I'm full of joy listening to your miracle story. Because I know you got some more.
I do, and they're coming, and I feel like it's going to continuously, come along as I go through the journey. So I'm excited about, the path God has for me. Yeah. And especially like me growing spiritually, I think it's so important. I can see that I have to pray for a lot of things. And one of the main thing is patience. So that's one thing in my character that I would love for it to change like overnight. But I know, but I know it won't. But I know it's going to take some time, and I know it's going to take a lot of, me leaning on God to, hey, help me through certain situations. And it's like just leaning on him for everything. I think that makes everything a lot better. So yeah, that's where I am.
Patience, prayer, leaning on God. So from the beginning of the business 2020 to now, would you say you're better with God?
Oh, almost made me curse. Yes. Heck yeah. I think under the level of, under the ministry that I'm under, it's like, you don't have a choice. Like, either I'm serious. It's like, if you don't change, like you will feel that conviction. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have to convict you. Like, you'll feel it yourself. And it's like, you can't sit under that level of teaching and not want better for yourself. Yeah. And it's like, even when I do something wrong, it's like, dang, I shouldn't have did that. And it's like, I immediately feel bad. I'm like, I need to change certain behaviors, needs to change my mindset, need to change how I say certain things, like speak positivity into my life, like versus saying, oh, I'm always in debt or I'm broke, like just changing those words, so just speaking over my life. It's like, I have no choice but to be different. going forward.
Tell us about this ministry. Like, who's the church,
Oh,
the
yes.
pastor? Yeah, because I think this is the third time you mentioned it. Like, because I'm intrigued now.
Okay,
Who's the
yes.
church, the pastor? Who is this?
So let me back up. So I started going
Yeah.
there last year. It
Okay.
stood for the Kingdom Global Ministries downtown at the Great Street Theater. And it's Apostle Enrique Pascal.
Enrique Pascal.
And it's also his wife, the First Lady, Lady K. So I started going there, and my godmom actually told me about it. She was like, "You need to go to church." I said, "Whatever, I'll go when I'm ready." This is last year. So the day I decided to go, everybody canceled on me.
Wow.
I said, "Okay, devil, all right." So everybody canceled. I said, "All right, the devil is working because he really don't want me to go." So I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go anyways," because I've always struggled with finding a great church here in Richmond. Never found one. The ones that I went to, it was either they were all about money, either they sang too much and I didn't get a good word, or whatever it was. So the day I went, I'm walking in by myself, and I was like, "All right, God, maybe it's gonna be somebody in here that I know." Cause like I'm nervous, you're going to somewhere new, right?
Yes.
So I walk in. The first person I see was a guy I met years ago, and I tell you, he's full of energy. His name is Haji.
Full of energy.
Like
I thought you were gonna say something else.
nah, he's
Full of energy.
Full of energy. Like he's always on go. So he was the first. He was a greeter. I was like a sigh of relief just went over me. I was like, all right, supposed to be here.
Okay.
And from that day, I think it was last May. From that day, I've been going ever since. And I teach the children's ministry. I do the homeless ministry, and I'm also one of the greeters. But I'm so involved. I've never been so involved in a church.
And that flowed naturally too?
It did.
Okay.
It was just like, it was no pressure. It's like, they said a sheet here. You want to sign up for this? Sure. You want a partner? Yes. Because the teaching that I got, and I feel like I stepped out on faith and bought my house because I started going there. And it was just like I had all this debt piled up. It was like, dang, I can't afford a house now. Like I need to save up. I need to pay off stuff. And I talked to Apostle about it. He was like, Onieka, you know God, right? I said, yes. He was like, okay, well, lean on your faith and go sign up and, see what you get approved for. And when I tell you, everything just fell into place. Like, it was mine. Like, I was shocked. I said, I'm approved for what? You sure that's mine? They were like,
Got the wrong social
right.
security number. Who's
Like,
social
that is
security
not
number
me.
you got? Yeah.
And it's like, I moved into my house. My neighbor, like, when I tell you, he's got sent before I even, got the house and everything was set. He came up to me. He said, hey, I'm such and such. He said, I'm your next door neighbor. I just want you to know I prayed over you. You got this house. It's set.
Wow.
I don't know this man, like, at all. Just met him. Wow. Like, he just came over. The guy was doing the inspection. And, like, a couple weeks later, everything went through, got the house. So it's just, like, from that, it was, like, I got a taste of what it looks like to fully know God. So I will say I knew God, but I didn't fully trust him, right? So once I got under this, ministry, it was like the teaching and the discernment. It was just like, okay, now I understand what it really feels like to know who God is. So it took me going there and just having somebody who's also relatable. So Apostle is very relatable. He had his past and he's not afraid to share that. So I think also when you go into ministry, you're looking for somebody that you can relate to and understand and is comfortable. I've never had a pastor who checks on you or like you can go to them about anything. And like he gives back so much. Both him and his wife, they give back so much. It's like they're just the most genuine people. And it's like you just feel so comfortable with them. And, I invite other people to church. I had a couple, one of my friends the other day, her husband came and they joined the church after just being there the first time.
Wow.
And it was just like...
First time.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like I've searched so hard or trying to find a church or, it just wasn't working out. And then just to walk into this one, it's like it just felt natural. And it's like I just never looked back. And when I tell you my life did a complete 360, and I would stand up and just start stomping right now. But it's just like, it just makes me smile and I can be at peace with myself, just knowing that I'm just I'm just protected, you know? Like I'm surrounded by so many great people.
Yeah.
And it's like, thank you, God, for that. I appreciate that so much. And it just warms me on the inside. And that's why I don't worry much anymore. I at least try not to worry. You know, sometimes you can't help it. But it's like just having that peace of mind is nothing else like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's well, we're always human, so we always have that other thing to worry about. Because my daughter just started high school, so every now and then I let fear go. Then I have to just remember to pray again, because God's gonna take care of her too, the same way
Yeah.
He took care of me. So we still human. But the more you talk about following God and all the miracles, it keeps reminding me of the lesson of being in God's hand, like the tribe of Judah, because it's God's hand. If you're in His hand, it's okay.
Yeah.
You just have to learn to stay there,
Yeah.
because it's always that other thing, that other fear, that other project. I gotta, like I said earlier about all the I's. I
Yeah.
gotta get this money. I gotta start this business. And just sitting here listening to you talk about this, I'm sure people are gonna be inspired to start their business.
Yeah.
But did God tell you to do it?
All right. That part.
That part.
That part.
Because somebody else can make a better juice and fail because
Yeah.
God didn't tell them to do it.
That part.
But it could be a better juice.
Yeah.
But if it's not anointed, you got to do it all on your own.
Right.
Then you miss the other mark.
That part. Yeah.
Because I really feel that way about computers. Because I wanted the money.
Yeah.
But it's not clicking.
Yeah.
And if something don't click, it can't be my fault. Well, it can't be my fault.
Yeah.
But it just means God don't want me to do computers right now.
Yeah. It's not for you.
But man,
Just give it up.
because I'm still trying to find out the NIC unit, the CPU, the compressor, the port numbers, and the telnet number, and the firewall. Like the firewall class, they were speaking Japanese to me.
Look, it's foreign to me too.
Right.
Look, get somebody else to do it. That's not my alley. I'm gonna stick to this.
But I would love to make $100 an hour.
Yeah.
Like my cousin killing it right now.
Yeah.
But it can't.
But you wouldn't be happy though. You'd probably be miserable.
start drinking again, right?
So you don't
Right.
want to go find
Yeah.
find whatever it is that's gonna make you happy.
I'm driving a Jaguar, but I'm drunk every night. Like,
Yeah.
that peace of mind is everything. And the older I get, the more I get it now.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's got to be what God wants you to be.
for sure.
And it sounds like you are what He wants you to be.
Yeah, I strongly believe so. I feel like everything happens for a reason. I feel like He aligns things for a reason. He places people in your life. What is the saying? People are coming to your life for a season or a reason, whatever it is. I might have said that wrong, but
A blessing or a lesson.
yeah.
Yeah, I just seen that on Instagram. Too.
Yeah. So I think where I'm at now personally, spiritually, physically, I think I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I think if I continue to go down this path, always relying on God for everything versus, trying to do it myself and not go to Him first, I think I'll be just fine. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a moment I was tempted to move back to Atlanta because I just wanted to change and chasing money. But I knew there was a 90% chance He didn't tell me to go.
Yeah.
I just got a cousin down there, and I'm like, yeah, I can go make some money in Atlanta, and I can do this, and I can do that. And then there's so much
Yeah.
and especially in this new world with technology and social media, it's so easy to put yourself on the throne. It's so easy to create a platform for yourself.
Yeah.
So, matter of fact, tell us how do you resist the temptation to platform yourself or to do your own thing? How do you resist it?
I think there's a certain image I want to portray when it comes to, you talking about social media?
All of it, because you have your own business, you're making your own money,
Right.
you can do your own thing.
True.
So, what is it? The teaching at the church, like what gives you the ability to stay humble? Because we can do our own thing.
Yeah, that is true. I think
You go to the Essence Festival and make $1 million.
Yeah, that is true. That would be nice.
Yeah.
No, I think if something unsettles me, I try not to do it.
Okay.
So I think just staying in my lane and how I live my life, behind closed doors, the same way I want to portray it out to the world. And there's one point on social media I have, stuff with me, out partying and doing all that stuff, but I'm just not in that space anymore. I'm in a space now where it's like my focus is getting closer to God. And if those things aren't godly, then it got to go. So I think that's a strong part of it. And then if it's gonna unsettle me, then I don't want it. So I think that's what keeps me in a straight line.
So your anchor is God and not the bank.
Right.
Okay.
So I think if it was the bank, I probably would have just been scrambling to find another job and just took anything that fell into place during the summer months. But I was obedient and I was like, look, it's all going to be about my business. God said, this is what you're going to do. So like when I tell you all summer, I was working my A off. Like,
Yeah.
I was in that kitchen, like I was in the kitchen. Let's just say that, and it was busy, and it was just like an overflow to the point where sometimes like I call myself, I call my guy, I'm like, yo, I am tired. It'd be like when I tell you up 1-2 o'clock in the morning printing off labels, and it's just like, but I was so deep into it. It's like, no, I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
And it's like, even though I was super tired, after I was done, I was like, okay, I don't feel that bad. Like I feel good. So I think, all of that just keeps me in line with, where I'm at and where I want to continue to go. Yeah.
Yeah. And the obedience, consistency, discipline. And then it all ended with you getting your job back anyway.
Won't he do it?
Yeah. Everybody in here can start dancing for that.
Right.
That's like God saying, I had you the whole time.
Right. And I want to go back and laugh at some of those people when they question me when I said God got it. He did.
He did. Yeah. It's so awesome when we look back and say he was there forever.
Yeah.
Because even the times I was incarcerated, he was in there with me. Because a lot of situations kept going in my favor. Now, of course, at the time, I thought I was just so dope.
Yeah.
And I'm just so smarter than everybody else. But when I look back at it, God did a lot when I was in the worst predicaments.
Yeah.
Because it could have been worse. Because, there is worse than jail.
Yeah.
There is worse than prison. Even when I crashed the motorcycle, when I started telling people about when I crashed the motorcycle, they said, yeah, my cousin crashed one and his head got knocked off by a light pole.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what? Then tell somebody else about the story. Yeah, I crashed a bike talking to different people. And my cousin crashed a motorcycle and lost a leg. I'm like, wow.
Oof.
So I just kept hearing them other stories. And I'm like, okay, that could have been worse too.
Right.
But that was actually how I got saved, because I was disabled for a minute. And when you sit down, you can't do nothing but look up. So I started going back to church after that because I was being hard-headed.
Yeah.
So it's God's there the whole time, no matter where we go. And then finding out he loves you, that changes everything.
Why do you think that people don't want to go back to church?
I think we don't understand what love is. And then, matter of fact, I literally just had this conversation with a friend of mine. We reject the fixer. So when you feel God calling you to fix your problems, you blame God for the problem. So God's saying, come here, let me solve those issues. You're like, no, if you love me, that never would have happened. So I'm not coming back to you because you let me get hurt.
Yeah.
So we're blaming God instead of the people that actually hurt us. And sometimes we're blaming God instead of ourselves. Because sometimes you did it. But bitterness and unforgiveness, which is the opposite of love.
Yeah.
Because that was my last main issue. Because, the pride and the ego, that goes away. I'm not 21 no more. I ain't dope no more. Like, I was 21. I created my own cloud to float myself.
Yeah.
Like, I was just full of it. You'd have hated me when I was 21. But the bitterness stuck. And bitterness is a hidden root you can't even see. So I can pretend I like you, but I really don't, because you hurt my feelings 7 years ago. So it's kind of like when you walk into dead churches and there's no worship, there's no praise, everybody's sitting down while the music playing. There's a lot of unforgiveness in there. But we show up with our suits. We read the Bible, but because of bitterness, I can't love you for real.
Wow.
So bitterness is one of them. Like, I honestly believe a lot of us, I can't say everybody, a lot of us don't even know what love is. Because I know for a fact when God came to me himself, I rejected God himself. Because I'm like, yo, nah. Because in my mind, I'm thinking he's coming with a baseball bat, a knife, a belt, and a whip. He's going to kill me.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I love you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to fix this.
Right.
But in my mind, because I thought his love was a discipline and a correction, he's a prison ward, I thought he was going to kill me. Come here. Oh, you're going to kill me for messing up? No, I'm going to fix you. And many of us don't have that example in the real world.
Yeah.
Somebody could say, I love you, then hurt you. So now you're confusing hurt and love as the same thing.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah, kind of like dating.
Yeah.
If you keep getting hurt by certain people, you're going to be like, yo, I don't want to get hurt no more.
Yeah.
That ain't love.
That's true.
And you're right, that ain't love.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's, and if I can't remember the word, but we had this in psychology. I want to call it, I think it's called classical conditioning. When you say a word, then you perform an action, and then the person subconsciously expects that.
Yeah.
So if I keep saying I love you, then I slap you, and you're 5 years old, and 15 years old, you don't think of love as a slap.
Yeah.
But if I hug you, you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
That's not love. Love is a slap in the face, because you've been conditioned to think that. That's why I kept my kids away from certain kind of rap music and certain videos, because it teaches you to behave a certain way.
Yeah.
And imagine kids watching that their whole life. Now everybody's twerking, like it's normal.
It's hard out here. So I commend people that, have kids and they're trying to raise them in the society we live in now. Because it's like you can't protect them from all those things. Because even in school, their friend might have a phone and they're still watching that stuff. But I think it goes back to, what you do in the home.
Yeah.
So it starts back with your parents. So, I know my dad, growing up, he tried to protect me from certain things, but, young mind is going to wander. But it also goes back to how he brought me up and how he protected me. So, not to stray too far off, from the outside world. But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, because I had to, like with my first son, I was super hard on him. And I was still dealing with my own demons too. But then when he got older, I became a better parent. Then my second son was born. Then my daughter was born. And a whole new version of love grew up in my own soul, because now I have a baby girl.
Oh.
So everything changed when she was born. Like if I had 3 boys, I probably would have been Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
But when she was born, everything changed. So with my first son, I was super strict. But what I learned with my kids was give them a little bit of rope to make a few mistakes. Like I was talking about love earlier, and I thought God was just this meanie. I had to learn to give them enough room to make decisions and to fail, and I still love you, and we're going to work through it. But you're not going to go to hell for making the tiniest mistake.
Yeah.
Because some of us grow up living our lives on eggshells. If I make one mistake, it's over.
Yeah.
Because I remember when my son got to high school, I told him, I was like, listen, I know everybody out here popping pills and drinking and partying. I said, let me tell you something. You know that's wrong.
Yeah.
You said you want to go to college and play football. So you know that's going to hurt you, right? He was like, yeah. I said, well, listen, if you ever do get caught up partying and mess up, just tell me. Don't lie. If they're out there drinking and wilding, call me. I'll come pick you up.
Yeah.
Because Uber wasn't even out yet. Just call me and tell me. But don't lie about it. Don't hide it, because then it's going to get worse. So if you get drunk one day and get high, just tell me. I did the same thing. It's cool. That actually freed him. And he never did it.
That's awesome.
He never did it. While he was in high school, he had 1 beer his whole high school life. And I think that was the night they won the state championship.
That's awesome.
So they deserved that beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not, parent, please. It's a joke. But yeah, it's I had to learn, but I had to literally learn that. Because some of us grow up in the environment, you make one mistake, it's over.
Yeah.
You can't, that's not joy, that's not love. Because all of us are a work in progress. So if you think that from people, you're going to feel the same way about God.
Yeah.
But God's like, yo, I'm going to fix it. But we reject the fixer. And then our idol has to go somewhere else. And that's, like the analogy I always use is the imaginary world. So now I have to change the rules to fit my condition. Because if I see the real God, I'm going to see my real self. And I can't even handle me.
Right.
Like there was a period of years I would not take pictures because I didn't like myself. There was a period of years I didn't even look in the mirror because I didn't even like me. So how am I gonna relate to God if I don't like me?
Gotcha. Well, look at you now. I hope that. Look at you now.
I'm a little better.
Yeah.
I'm a little better. And then God surrounds you with good people
Yeah.
who chase you through the parking lot. I'm exaggerating. But yeah, I'm glad we met. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you this before we go. What advice would you give young business owners who see your journey, see your success, see your joy?
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give any young business owner?
Don't ignore the signs. Don't ignore the pulling, the tugging on you. And once you find that thing, it's gonna be effortless to you. You're not gonna question it. You're not gonna be unsettled. So I think just always trusting the process, being consistent. I'll say that again, being consistent, because that's a hard thing, especially in today's world where everything is moving so fast and we want to jump from one thing to the next, even if it isn't going right. Because there's some days or some weeks I don't get any sales. So it's like, all right, do I give up and then jump to something else? No, I'm going to trust the process because it's going to have its ups and downs, and I have to learn that.
Yeah.
So, going into it new, just being open-minded, accepting feedback from the right people, because everybody gonna come to you and tell you whatever, but you have to discern what's really coming from the right place. So yeah, just trusting the process and leaning on don't lean on your own understanding when it comes to certain things.
Seems like it always ends up back with God and love and discipline. Because you said consistency probably 3-4 times.
Yeah, because that's something I struggle with.
Yeah.
So I think I'm in a space now where I've identified that, and it's something that is a work in progress. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that, oh, I'm great, I'm consistent. No, because we all struggle every single day. Like waking up every day you have to wake up saying, hey, I'm gonna go even harder today. I'm going to work on this even harder. I'm going to do better today with this thing or whatever it is that you're struggling with. Like you have to literally choose to keep working on that thing. Because it's like you can get discouraged. So yeah, young people don't get discouraged. Keep going. And just like I said, trust in the process.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Can I ask you for one more nugget?
Yes.
'Cause this is a good one.
Okay.
And Zach could tell you my mind be everywhere because I wanted to do the clothing line when they showed me the program on the computer. Mm-hmm. Now I want to do clothes, but I need to focus on the podcast. Yeah. But one more nugget. You just said you've gone weeks without sales. Mm-hmm. What do you do when everything's going wrong?
Choosing to wake up and still keep posting content and putting a smile on, like nothing is happening in the background. So on weeks where I don't have any sales, it's like, all right, well, how can I make my social media? How can I put a new video? How can I share more information? Just working on things in the background, trying to figure out labels or, maybe working on a website. So all of the background things are also thinking about how can I bring in more clients, right? So just getting myself out there more. So not so focused on, dag, I ain't getting no sales this week and just be at home doing nothing. No, there's still work to be done. So so you're constantly, well, for me, like it's like my mind is constantly going because it's like, how can I make this better? Even though I'm not getting these sales right now, okay, how can I make this better? How can I, attract another market or whatever? It's just always coming up with different strategies to, just get myself out there more.
There's other elements to work on instead of just focusing on the money.
Right.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because we do make money the idol. We talked about that a few minutes ago too. Because the money is always the idol instead of the process. You just said that too. Enjoy the process.
Yeah, you got to.
All right. Yeah. Let everyone know where they can find you online.
Yes, for sure. So you can find me on Instagram at juicyvibes_RVA or on Facebook, Juicy Vibes. I am in Petersburg, but I do pick up delivery, so you can reach me, and all of my information is on my IG.
In the cooler at Gold's Gym.
Huh?
In the cooler at Gold's Gym, your collaboration.
Oh, yes. Oh, how can we forget that? Because that's super important. I am set up at Gold's Gym in Colonial Heights. So I have a mini fridge there, so you can purchase there also. Card, Cash App, Apple Pay, all that good stuff. So yeah.
Now you big time now. Got your own cooler.
Hey. And even bigger things are coming, right?
Yeah.
So, just gotta be humble. So this was great. I enjoyed it.
God's timing.
Look, it was good.
Because if you came, what was that? I think August.
Mm-hmm.
It'd have been a different conversation.
Yeah,
if you came
it would have. Yeah, it would have. So it all worked out the way it should.
God knows.
He be doing it. God be guiding.
God knows. Thank you for coming.
Awesome.
God bless you, everybody.